Hey everybody! I'm so excited to see you here today. I am working on hot foil today, which means you may see me sweating because we're going to be heating up some fun stuff today, looking at the ways different papers react with the hot foil. You know, I love some experiments, so I'm super excited about that. I'm so glad at all of you joining me. Thank you so much for being here. And just make sure that if you have a question, I can read the questions, but sometimes when I'm working with the hot foil machine, I really have to pay attention not to burn myself, etc. So make sure that you pop up. You could always write question in big letters, and a lot of times I'll see that a little bit easier on my monitor. So just make sure that you've got that. And hi from Oregon, that's Kim. Hello. Hi, Melanie. I'm so excited to have all of you here. We've got some giveaways. We're going to be looking at some Papertrey Ink stuff. We're going to be making this cute little card today, and we're going to be using this foil plate quite often today. This is the Wandering Petals. Okay, it's got a stencil option too, but what we're going to do is look at foiling with it. Okay, so foiling is one of those things. I've talked about it before. We've tried all kinds of different things with foil plates, but I don't think that we've done an actual foiling live stream. So that's what we're going to do today and take you through this fun card. I will show you a couple other things. This is from the latest release at Papertrey, and I will show you a few other things as well as we're going through this. We're going to be looking at that cute little bird. Oh my gosh, he's so cute, guys. Okay, and I'll show you a few of my cards from the rest of the release that will be coming out in a video in about 2 weeks on my channel. So let me get the overhead camera going so we can go with that, and I will pop myself up in this corner. See if we can do that. Sorry, it takes me just a second. Okay. All right, so I've got this plate nice and hot already. It says platform ready. Okay. And also today, I wanted to preface this by I am not a foiling expert. If I mess this up, it's just the way it goes. I have done it several times and I use it on a regular basis, but there's occasionally those times where it just messes up for no good reason. So y'all just give me a little grace today in case we do that. But what we're going to do first, I want to show you some different papers and how they foil, because with this one, I'm going to try to hold it up to the camera a little bit. You can see that I foiled on a paper that is a little more textured. So the look is a little bit different than something like this. Okay, you see how that's more solid? And we're going to do both of those types of foiling today. And of course, this is going to be in a video coming out on my channel soon, so we will play with that. So the first thing you want to do when you're foiling is you want to get this warm. So right now, this is hot to the touch. Okay, so oh, thank you. Thanks, Cheryl, for the cute nails. So this is hot to the touch. Now, I am also going to preface this with, I have my own way of foiling. Sometimes I don't do things exactly by the book, so just bear with me. I tend to do this the way that works the best for me, but it may not be exactly like the directions in the Spellbinders Glimmer machine. So just take it with a grain of salt. This is what I do when I'm foiling, and if I miss a step or I do something different than what y'all normally expect, then bear with me, okay? I have pre-cut my foil. So I have the glimmer foil here, and I'm using the color matte gold, okay? So it's not quite as shiny as some of the other ones. And I've already pre-cut my foil because I know that we want to use it, and cutting it can sometimes be a little bit of a pain. So I have some foil pieces back here. I'm going to grab them individually. You'll see that it's matte, okay? And today we'll be giving away gift cards from Papertrey Ink. I did put their logo down in the bottom because I know a lot of times people haven't heard and when I say it, sometimes it's a little bit confusing on how you spell their name. So I put that in the bottom, the links. Rachel's all over the links. She's going to be putting those in here. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to foil with this piece. I'm going to start with my first tips, okay? I like to go ahead and tape this to a piece of paper. So let's look at doing plain white paper first. Let me get one that's a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm getting some, this is what you normally foil on, okay? It's Hammermill Premium Color Copy. This is what a lot of people like to foil on. I actually get better results with Papertrey Inks pretty pink paper, which is called, it's called Sweet Blush. I'll bring that out in a second. So we're gonna try 2 different ways and we'll see how we do on our results, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm using bigger pieces than this. For this particular part, it just gives me a little bit more leeway on what I'm doing. So I tend to tape my foil down, and a lot of times I do it right at the top edge. So because wherever you tape it, you're gonna leave a little bit of residue. So let me get some tape here. I'm gonna tear this little piece of tape in half. Yes, this is sticking on my desk. So yes, I leave paper, I leave it sticking on my desk a lot of times. And I'm gonna barely do this little top part right here. And then I'm gonna fold it over so it holds it kind of like a little flap, okay? Not worrying about the bottom, just that part. Now, when you line it up, you wanna make sure you put this over your hot foil area, okay? So we'll try that. And let's see here. When I do this, so you've got this machine here. I don't know how many of you have ever used this machine before. It is called a Spellbinders Glimmer Machine, and it goes specifically with the Spellbinders Platinum, which is the, I'll show you, I'll bring it out. It's like a die cutting machine that you roll it through. So how this foil works, it works with heat and it works with pressure, okay? We need to remember that when we're using it because that makes a difference. So you'll see sometimes I accidentally put too much pressure when I'm just messing with it, and I can get a little bit of foil transfer like that. So you want to be very careful with your sheet of paper, okay? Very, very careful. Uh-oh. Whoops. Who knows? Okay, apparently my cameras just wanted to click on and off on my screen at least. Okay, so what we've got here, we have a timer. I usually turn the timer on and don't make my sandwich just yet until the timer goes off. Now, when the timer does go off, we're gonna need to be ready, okay? This is the stuff that comes with your glimmer machine. It's kind of like a almost green colored one. It's called the thin shim. I'm using a piece of paper, that's the hammermill paper, and I'm using the clear one, which is called the spacer pad, okay? So I've got all 3 of these things here to make my sandwich, but I gotta wait till this timer goes off. So, oh, Cheryl, you haven't used this machine yet. So yeah, we'll see how it goes here. I've never done this machine live, guys, so it's always a little bit interesting. And unfortunately, it does take some time. So you have to wait on the timer a little bit to go off. And that way we know that it's hot enough and that this plate has been on here long enough. You can burn yourself. You're gonna see me do things with my hands, but you'll notice that I'm not touching this hot surface, okay? Because I can feel the heat from here. So it's definitely hot. So be careful with that. Okay, our timer went off. Now when timer goes off, I'm gonna go ahead and this is stuck right here. I'm going to move it carefully before I put my paper on it. And the reason is because I tend to move the paper. Once you've laid this paper down, you do not need to move it, okay? So I'm gonna lay it down carefully. I'm going to carefully place this over it. And I'm gonna try not to move anything when I pick this up. Now for you, I'd like you to see it go through the die cutting machine, which means I have to scoot things over and be extra careful. So here's the die cutting machine. And now we're gonna go carefully roll it through. See if I have enough room to do all this on my desk at the same time. Yeah, y'all make sure that you hit the like and subscribe. I'm so excited to have all of you here today. So, oh, thanks Tina for the encouragement. You got this. Let's hope I got this, right? So tell me today, guys, what are your plans for this holiday weekend? Do y'all have any family traditions, anything exciting going on in your neck of the woods? I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're kind of having like a little fake fall right now where it's kind of cooler. It gets warm during the day, but it feels really nice. Okay, so here's our plate. Let's see what we got. And yes, paper is everything, Tina, when foiling. It really does make a difference. So I'm going to carefully remove this. The other thing that really makes a difference is being able to let it cool. Do not remove this foil. So I'm going to carefully lift this up. Okay, you can see that we've got our image there. And then I'm going to let it cool off. So we're going to do a few of these so that we give them time to cool, because I know it's so exciting to see that peel off of there, but if you don't let it cool, you're going to get too many pieces on it. So I'm going to set that side apart, let this heat up again. We'll look at the pink one versus the white one versus this slightly textured paper. Let me grab the slightly textured paper. And you don't have to use gold for these things. This paper is so slightly textured, I don't even know if you guys can see it, but it has teeny tiny little minuscule lines, not like textured like it would be if you had like a embossing folder. It's more like just a little slight texture, and generally the rest of it is pretty slick. It's almost like a vellum. Okay, thank you, Rachel. Sorry, I don't know if I put that in there for you. All right, I'm just seeing if y'all got any questions. Okay. Chris Morningfall, nature is faking us out. That is true. Okay, so next we're going to use this hammer mill. This is the one that most people use. So let's get our piece right here ready. We need our gold foil. Okay. Going to tape it down again. So I'm getting it close to the edge, and we're going to make a little sandwich. And with the other paper, like if you've got a real flimsy paper, then you're going to need to do what we do with our next one. I'm going to show you that. But first, for regular papers like Papertrey's cardstock, which this is the one that we just did. We just used their Perfect Match Sweet Blush, okay? And this cardstock, like I said, it's always like trial and error, but their cardstock does a great job foiling, really good. So if you've been looking for colored cardstock that's not crazily overpriced, Papertrey is your place, okay? It's really got some great cardstocks. Okay, so we got this ready, platform's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the timer. We've got our white cardstock, and then we're gonna do our textured. And of course, we're gonna do some die cutting and other fun stuff. But remember, this one is Hammermill Premium Color Copy. Is that what everybody else is using for foiling? Do I have some foilers out there? Anybody out there? Okay, so we'll give this timer just a second. And I showed you this card with foil. This will be coming out on my channel in a couple of weeks. Let me show you the other one we're going to be doing, and one of them will be a complete surprise. So this is a shaker card. So all of these pumpkin dies are so fun. So I'm going to do a whole video on 3 ways to use pumpkin dies. So question, can we do this without the Spellbinder Glimmer machine? So I'm going to talk about that in my next video. You can. It is helpful. There's some different types, like you could use like a laminating machine and things like that. But it definitely, the other thing you can use is something sticky, because sticky gets the foil off. But generally, this is the machine that most people go to. There are a couple others out on the market, but usually you need some type of heat. So some people will do this with a laminator to get the foil down, or they'll die cut the foil. We'll look at all of those things. Yeah, that pumpkin is cute, isn't it? He's so cute. Okay, so our timer went off, so I'm going to remove it like I said. I'm going to add this piece carefully. Like I said, once I drop it on there, even if it's crooked, I don't even worry about it. Because if I move it, it's going to be even worse. Okay, holding my sandwich like this, carefully, not moving anything, okay, as much as I can. So while we do this, let's see what else is going on. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you liking my pumpkins. All right. So Tina, do you use the laminator for foiling a lot? Sometimes there's several different types of foil, okay? So there's foil, when you're looking at foil, there's foil that's made to be heated up. There's foil that's made to be used with adhesive. There's foil that's made to be used with heat and pressure. This is heat and pressure, okay? Let me roll that through. I'm gonna get my workout today lifting that Spellbinders machine. Okay, and we'll get this one off, and then let's look at what we do for textured paper. Okay, so carefully lifting it off. All right, so we've got our nice impression here. I'm gonna let this cool off, so I'm setting it to the side. And now let's look at doing it with textured paper. Okay, I have limited amounts of this textured paper, so I have only done this one time. So y'all, like I said, I need a little grace here, okay, in case we're wrong. So it's kind of a flimsy paper. This paper is from the latest box of your Paper Insider, and like I said, it's kind of like doing a vellum or something like that. Let me see what Sharon says. Yeah, there's like a, with that laminator, there's like deco foil, like a paste that you can use to do some foiling for sure. So we got to wait on our platform to get ready. While we do that, let's carefully tape our foil. So this one especially, I am going to, because this is so flimsy, when it gets hot, it's gonna bow up. Okay, toner, yes, okay. Thank you, Sharon. Toner's the word. So there are all different types of foil. I am using this type of foil. It's called Glimmer, and it goes with this machine. So if you don't have this machine, then definitely look at my video on Papertrey Ink about using these foil plates for other things. But you can use, there's different ways to foil. It's just not quite as straightforward if you don't have the machine. Yeah, Tina says she has deco paste too. So with this one, I'm going to create a teeny tiny flap like we did earlier. Teeny. Okay. And I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to do it on the bottom. And the reason I'm going to do it on the bottom is because it's just such a flimsy paper. And I want to make sure that, and I'm kind of doing it off to the side. I want to just make sure it holds on there because it's a little bit hard to get this paper flat. Okay, so our platform's ready. Let me hit my timer and let me answer some questions while we wait on that little timer to go off. Okay, thank you, Rachel, for putting in those links, okay? This is one of those things. So if you have ever wanted to get a foiling machine, Labor Day weekend's probably a great day. Just gonna say, I'm sure Rachel put my link in there. This is the Wandering Petals, and let me show you the other stuff that we're using today. We're gonna use these adorable, we're not gonna use the bird stamps, we're gonna use the stamps just for the sentiment. But here are the bird dies, and this bird is so easy and so cute. I cannot wait to show you how it comes together. I never really was a big bird person, but when I started making cards, I realized like those birds are adorable. They really go well with lots of different like florals, and they go together well with lots of different flowers and scenes and all kinds of things. So having a good bird die is a great idea. This one is called So Tweet. So cute, isn't it? And that is So Tweet. I know, I love this little chubby bird. He's cute. Okay, so my timer went off. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna be extra careful with this delicate paper, okay? So I'm holding it, making sure I place it over this thing, and then I'm just gonna drop it, okay? Drop it. Put your plate on. Be oh so careful, okay? So careful. Okay, I had to, and it moved just a little bit. I was not as careful as I wanted to be there. So tweet, I know. Birds are cute, and it's fun making like a fluffy bird. I'll show you how I made him fluffy. Okay, so here we go. The other thing we're going to talk about is like, what do we do with these foil pieces when we're done? I hate wasting them, and I had some ideas. So if we have enough time, we'll play with that a little bit too. Okay, so here's this. I'm going to carefully take it up. You'll see this piece of paper really wants to bow up. It is a very flexible. See how it wants to bow up like that? Don't worry, we'll fix it. But it's a real flexible paper like a vellum, and so it scares you when it comes out, because when it does, it's like, oh, it's like, is that gonna work? I don't know. So let's start looking at some of our reveals. That's all I'm gonna do on the foiling part, because we've got 3 different backgrounds, and I'm just gonna set this aside. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna unplug it carefully, and I'm gonna set this over here so that I don't burn myself. I'll put it behind me. Okay, so let's get some of these things out of the way. We'll play with our little bird in just a second. Okay, let's look at this one. This is our coolest one, okay? So this one is the pink paper from Papertrey Ink, and they are the ones providing our giveaway today. So if you win the giveaway, go get yourself some amazing paper. They have great colors. Is possibly my favorite. Sorry, I just dropped something. So let's look at how it does with foiling, okay? All right, so we are going to just carefully lift up an edge. Before I do that, I actually am going to kind of press over the design and just make sure that it's good and sealed. And I'll do this as I'm lifting it up too. You want to try to press only over the design, okay? Yeah, small pieces. The nice thing with foil, yes, you can definitely use small pieces for sentiments. That's nice. But I was thinking, what if we use like the reverse of this, or I guess the negative space of this? We're going to see what we think because it's kind of cool and it could help you make a lot of cards. Okay, so I've got this little edge. I'm going to carefully go up. I'm going to move this a little bit towards the center. Okay, because I like to make sure everything's sticking. Oh gosh, that looks so good. Okay, here we go. And I know somebody said that I make foiling look easy. Foiling is all about the paper. This Papertrey paper, the best. I cannot believe it. There are no extra pieces of foil on that. It's just smooth and perfect. Okay, so what I'm talking about is using this negative space. So I'm going to carefully set this aside because we could make the opposite card. Look how cute that would look with just that. But we've got, see how the negatives are? So beautiful. So we're going to make a couple of negative cards as well. And we may put a little bird on them. We may just do the backgrounds and finish them up later. But it's really very, very easy. And so as far as foil goes, this is my absolute favorite color of foil. There are lots of other colors out there, but this matte gold really shows up very well in photos and it just is not too shiny, you know? Okay. Yeah, Debbie, definitely. You've got to try their paper. Missy, you got to try the paper. It is amazing. The color you also need to look for besides sweet blush is called Poppy. It's a beautiful red. I will be showing that soon in some Christmas cards. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so we got our beautiful pink. I'm going to set this aside. Now it does have this tape on the top that can kind of pull parts of it off. So I'm going to carefully remove that tape. This type of tape, you want it to be something like this Spellbinders tape or the Altenew purple tape, something that releases cleanly and quickly, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna tear your whole foil piece. And you still get a little bit of an indentation where you had it. You see that? So you're still gonna see some of that, but we'll try to smooth it down. So people who have done negatives with the foil, how do you usually adhere your foil? Do you use glue? I'm gonna set this one back here. Okay, so this one you may notice makes a debut in this card, okay? So if you're wondering how I foiled the pumpkin, started with foiling, okay? Then we did some fun die cutting with that pumpkin. So let's see here. Thank you. Yeah, it's not overly shiny. It is shiny. You can see it catch in the glare, but it's not crazy shiny like some of the others. I actually grabbed one so you could compare it in case you were looking at foils today. So this is regular gold right here. And this is the matte gold. You can tell the difference in those two. Okay, so just so you know, and this one's another glimmer product. It's just the difference in matte versus the solid. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set this one aside. We're going to look at the white one and we'll see if I had the same thing happen with the white. So this is one that lots of people use for foiling. I haven't had as good of luck with this one. It's kind of like a 50-50. As to whether I have any over foiling, which is basically foil on the white part. So let's see how we did today. Did I do okay? Ooh, I did. That is awesome. I wonder if I have the other piece. This is, you know, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I must not have moved it as much, but I have no over foiling on that one either. Okay, and so we've got this nice little piece here. Like I said, we're going to hang on to it in case we decide to use it. So I'm carefully removing and trying to keep it as flat as I can. Okay, so we've got our white, we got our pink. Now let's compare this to texture. Okay, so like I said, it's all folded up. Look at how much it bent the paper with the heat. But we're gonna fix that with glue, no problems, okay? All right, now I have kind of sealed it here, so I'm gonna undo these little pieces carefully, because I've sealed it to both parts. Make sure I got that one undone. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of run my hand along this. You can already see it starting to lift up a little bit. Just making sure we got all the pieces, okay? And we will show you how this is different. Yeah, it would be pretty with a butterfly. Papertrey has a really nice butterfly that we used in another live stream. Okay, carefully going to remove it, and I'm going to try to show you the texture that's on it. Super careful. All right, and that fine texture. So basically what I want y'all to see is that you can try this on a lot of different papers, and you might be shocked at the results. So if you look at the foil piece, you can tell that where those lines were. You see how it's not perfectly clear through there? You can actually see little bitty lines. It's like it foiled the pieces that were sticking up. And let me show you in this version. So this, see if you can tell. Compared to that, you see how there's some lines in between? I hope you can see that with the glare. Let me set this over here. So let's look at the difference. Okay, that one's solid. This one is, I'm going to try to get it up close as I can. Can you see that there's like, it's not completely solid. It's actually got lines in the paper. Y'all see that? It looks so cool up close. That's why I'm trying to get you a good view of it. So play with different papers, play with vellum, play with anything that has a little texture to it. This worked out amazing, and it made it look so cool. Okay, so just experiment a little bit. It's hard to experiment when you're having to use the foil, but you can always cut your piece up and use it for something else. So since this is a little bit wrinkled, I will put a little bit of pressure on it since it's kind of folding up. You can see I've already kind of laid it down. I'm going to set some weight on it, and we're going to go ahead and assemble our little bird. And then we're going to look at doing some of these negative pieces and see what happens. Now, the negative pieces are going to be completely new to me. So y'all are going to walk through it with me, and we will just see what happens. If you are here in this live, make sure that you've hit the thumbs up. I feel like we've got like twice as many people in the live as hit the thumbs up. This really helps for the replay. I know it may not make a whole lot of sense right now, but it really helps me get the replay out to more people, and it's a big crafting weekend. I'd love them to see this live. Okay, let me set this back behind me so it can stay, and let's start looking at our bird pieces. Okay, this bird is super easy to deal with, okay? He is cute. He's so easy. I know I have some extra pieces on here, but these extra outline pieces go if you decide you're going to stamp, because it does have a layered stamp. It also has the die for the layered stamp part as well, which is really nice. So, oh, thank you guys for hitting the like button. I saw quite a few people go off there. That's awesome. All right, so let's just see. Are there any questions, anything like that? Yes, so we are having a giveaway during the live, and we're having 2 giveaways for the replay, okay? All of those are $50 gift cards to Papertrey Ink. Papertrey is helping with all of that, and so make sure you say, thank you, Papertrey, thank you. And what we'll do is when we get to 100 viewers live, we're going to give that away. We got about 8 more. If we don't quite get there, we're going to count pets. So get ready to tell me all the pets that are out there. And I saw a few things. Did anybody have any fun plans for the weekend? Okay, so here's what we're going to use. Oh, here's the difference in the white one. Here's one of the white ones that I had before that I overfoiled. You see how it's got foil sticking on the white parts? That sometimes happens if you put too much pressure, if I moved my plate a little bit, if I didn't, just little things can happen that make that. But what happens is you can easily remove it, okay? So don't let that get you on your, all worried about foil. You can use one of the sand erasers and remove that, or you can only use pieces of it and still get things. You can see I cut this out because what I did was I wanted to make some little branches for later. So I actually cut out a couple of the pieces because I thought this would look cute behind birds and all of that stuff. So just remember, if you overfoil or you feel like you completely messed a piece up, do not throw it away. Do not throw it away. There's so many options. Let me see if I can find that eraser that gets it off here. Yeah, here's what it is. It's a mono sand eraser, okay? This is one of those things that gets foil off. I will tell you that it does a pretty good job. If it leaves too much of a mark on your page, just wipe it off. You're getting like a little bit of the sand there, and it really can kind of scratch that top level of foil off and give you better results. So just remember, you got options. You can remove those pieces of foil, you can cut them out. You don't have to worry about any of it. Oh, somebody's got a Maltese. I had a Maltese. I used to have a Maltese. I don't have one now. I've got some bigger dogs now, but they're so cute. All right. Oh, Sharon says she loves Yorkies. Oh gosh, those puppies are cute. I mean, what puppies aren't cute, but still. Okay, so let's start looking at our bird. I'm going to start with the white backing, which I used kind of like a fabric paper. You see that? It's almost like, let me see how close I can get to this to see. It's definitely got some texture in it. Whoops. Hold on. We got to let the autofocus adjust. It's hard when it's focusing on white. But do you see that there's different kind of grains to that? It's just because I thought my fluffy bird should be a little fluffy. So we're going to cut him up. I'm going to start with this big piece. And we don't need much. We just need this little guy. Okay? So I'm going to spare my paper here and just do that. So I'm going to get a couple things ready so that we can die cut them. And then we got our cute little bird part here. This is the top of our bird. Tell me if y'all got questions. Oh yeah, no weekend plans. Can you use the fabric paper to print money? That would be fun. We would probably get in trouble with that, right? All right, so I am going to die cut. Whoops. Sorry. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I dropped some stuff. There it goes. That happens sometimes during a live. You drop things because you get nervous. Okay, so we're gonna die cut our little bird like this, and we're going to die cut his little face. So it's really not many pieces. His face is going to be blue. I used a kind of a denim blue. This is also from your Paper Insider for this one. And I am going to cut him out so that I don't waste any paper. So we're going to go like this. Cut it out a little bit. It's really not many pieces to die cut to make that adorable bird. It's pretty adorable. Okay, so I will go here. We got some legs, we got a beak, eyes, and then this little tuft right here. So you could do these different colors if you wanted to. I actually just did mine a little bit darker, which I've already lost the card. Where did I put it? Oh, here he is. So I made mine a little bit darker with some ink, and I'll show you what I did with that. Yes, so we got our little legs here, and we got our beak. I'm going to make the legs and beak the same color, and I'm going to grab a little piece of paper here. So I just picked out a color that matched the background. This color just really looks good with the background, and so I'm going to use that as our matting. We're going to use it as the matting. We're going to use it for this little die cut area, and I'm going to make it just a little bit darker on the beak and on those little feet right there, okay? So I'm going to cut some of that out too. Don't need a whole lot. I got a piece of black because I just need the eye. So let's send this through, and then we can start collecting our pieces and get them. Well, of course, do a few things to our pieces. You know I never leave anything just plain. So we're going to do a few things with our pieces by adding a little bit of ink blending. And you want to make sure you got these teeny little pieces. Make sure you keep up with them, okay? So here's this. We'll send this through, and then we're going to put all the pieces in a container so that I don't lose them. But this thing is very easy to assemble, okay? Here we go. All right, the other thing that I like to do, you'll notice that I have a piece of magnet right here. This magnet is helpful in that when you're trying to put something like this together, you have all these little bitty pieces and you could possibly lose them. So I always want to make sure that I've got all of my pieces here. If you have trouble layering it, you can print off this from the website and it'll kind of show you the different parts, okay? And that's also for the stamp. So let's get our pieces out. Let's look at our little birdie here. Make sure I got him all the way. No, he needs a little bit more pressure. That white piece is kind of thick, so he needs a little bit more pressure. Let's put our pieces in here with our foil, especially this little teeny tiny eye piece. Oh yeah, magnet pads are nice. I don't know if y'all were able to hear. Sometimes my microphone takes the noise away, but I dropped like a magnet holder off my desk, and so that was interesting. So somebody from Oregon, yay! Okay, I'm gonna send, so I've got the little black eye, we've got the little blue part here. Let's do the other blue part, which I can just do from the scrap right here. We're gonna do a white eye, teeny tiny little eye right there. And I'm gonna send this through again because there wasn't quite enough pressure on this white. I may have to run it through a couple times. So there's toner, Beverly, there's toner paper sheets that you can do with the, that certain people, I think like Gina K makes toner paper sheets. What is the other one? Tonic Studios makes toner paper sheets if you're looking for that kind of foiling. Alrighty, so if you are not on my email list yet, make sure, okay, look at how tiny this little white dot is. You can do that with a pen if you're afraid you're gonna lose it, but I went on and cut it out just to be safe. Just have to be careful to get it off my finger and then not lose the die piece. This is why I've got the magnet over here. Okay, let's see if it cut this time. Hey Dean, thank you for showing. We appreciate it. You can always go back and watch the replay. I got most of this. I may actually have to trim a little bit of this. It's just because this die cutting machine doesn't have quite as much pressure. I'm going to put this and maybe a piece of paper in there with it. Let's do like a piece of paper to give it a little bit of extra pressure. Let's see if that helps. Sometimes when you have trouble die cutting, it's just, especially these big thick papers, you just need to add more pressure to your machine. So I'm cutting a piece of paper and I'm adding it to see if I can get that to go through. Okay, so we've been looking at, oh, Melanie, no, I don't have that. They may have changed that. Mine do not smell terrible from Amazon, my plates. She's asking about magnetic sheets. You can always look in my Amazon store and see if you got the same brand that I did. The last time I got them perfectly fine. So, and I got a couple of different brands in there. I'm gonna have to use smaller scissors here. So we still have a little spot where it doesn't want to let go, and that's just a function of using that thicker paper. So we will cut this little guy out. And most of this guy's little white is going to be covered up because he's underneath some of the blue. So you don't have to be super careful with it. I'm just going to go along those lines. Oh, you got envelopes, Jennifer, that come with your, hey, hi. So we have been doing foiling. I'm going to set this up here so people know what we've been doing. We've been playing with some foiling. Been using hot foil plates, and we use them on a textured piece of paper and did tips and tricks. So if you're showing up late and you want to see how to do that textured piece of paper, make sure to check that out earlier in the live. The key to it is just trying it. You may have some paper at your house that just works great, and you just have to give it a try. Okay, sorry, still cutting. Let me see if we got anything else. Yeah, Melanie, try another one and see, because you know how things are changing. You know, there's no telling what the quality is of things from time to time on Amazon, so you never know. So today, let's see how we're doing. Oh, we hit 100. Cool. So let's go ahead and give away one of the $50 gift cards from Papertrey. Julie, I'll let you take a peek at that and figure out who is the winner today. We have 2 in the replay that we're going to do because one person did not claim theirs last replay. So remember, if you possibly win the replay, make sure you're checking back on the video. It's usually about a week, and then I will post those on the pinned comment. Okay, so let's see what she did. Yeah, I got, so Sharon, you got Marietta magnetics. That's the one that I use as well, and I haven't had any smell. Have you had problems with that? All righty, so there's our little base of our bird. Let's put him in here. We need his little legs, and we're gonna add a little bit of ink to him just to make him look extra special, okay? So we got his tuft here. I think I got that. Well, there it is. Cut it out, missed it. This is a little thing that goes under his face, and we're gonna make that a little bit darker. We just need the beak and his little beak and his little feet. Sorry. Okay, let me check in on this. Congrats, Sherry. What happened with Sherry? Did I miss that? Oh, Sherry won. Okay, Sherry's the winner today. Sherry Bear. Okay, make sure that you email Papertrey Ink to collect that, okay? All right, so I'm gonna cut out the feet and the beak, and then we're gonna add a little bit of ink blending, and we will assemble our card, and then let's look at what we're gonna do with our reverse pieces and see if we can make anything out of that. So you see that I'm cutting these, I'm not going right up at the edge. I wanna be able to reuse this piece as a possible mat, so I'm coming in when I do my cutting out of it. Yay, Sherry! And I love that you have that cute little Care Bear as your logo there. Okay, so let me tell you guys what I've been doing so that you know. I have been, in case you think I'm exhausted or just a little lower energy, I have been with an entire high school, my kids' high school, for about 3 days. If you've been wondering where I was, I had no internet at a camp that is a Young Life camp. And I'm just telling you, I kind of had a little epiphany there that I think we need to try and challenge ourselves to do. And that is, those are some great teenagers. And you know, we always, every time you talk about teenagers, you're like, oh my goodness, that teenager. Well, I am so impressed. And I thought about how sometimes when we're talking about teenagers, we're always talking about how annoyed we are, but also we got to encourage those guys. We need to give them some encouragement. So I thought, let's challenge everybody to go and send a card to a teenager, you know, your grandkids, somebody. They don't see cards like we make anymore, and they loved them. I did some things with them at the camp. They were so interested, and just mail in general is so exciting. If you want to encourage somebody, consider a teenager. They love cards. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna grab my sticky mat so we can add some color to these, which I put right here. And people always ask where my sticky mat's from. It's from Altenew. It's a mess, but it does a great job at holding on to these little pieces. So I'm gonna add just a little bit color to our white, to the bottom of our white here, just to let it stick out just a little bit. And we're gonna do just a really light color of this buttercream. This is from Catherine Pooler, and I'm just adding it because it's the lightest cream that I own. And so, so we'll do that real quick and just a teeny amount, okay? So I'm just gonna add just a little bit with a brush and just along the edges. And it just kind of makes the white pop out a little bit, and it gives it just a little bit more detail. So always consider adding a little extra when you can, and just see how much it makes your design really look cool. Oh yeah, so yes, so somebody said, I love the teenager idea. Yeah, you know, when it's your own teenagers, it's even more difficult, but I think that sometimes just getting an encouraging note from an adult can make all the difference in somebody's day. And you know, they are really going through a lot right now. It's such a different time than when we were teenagers. So just consider it. I know we always are sending cards and encouraging elderly, but if you think about it, we need just as much encouragement for the next generation. So consider sending a card to a teenager. It doesn't even have to be fancy. They are impressed that they get mail. So just consider it when you're thinking about making your next card. And I know this weekend lots of people will be crafting. Maybe just consider doing that. I promise if it's your grandkids, they're gonna love it. So I'm gonna put the two little feet here. We're gonna add a little bit of color to those and the beak. And I'm going to use just a color that's similar to this paper. We're going to use this, which is kind of similar. It's kind of an orangey brown, so I'm going to use that. Oh, Tina, I'm so sorry you're having surgery. Okay, so I'm just going to get just a little bit of this color on here to give it a little bit of darkness, because the background is so similarly colored that I want to make sure we got these standing out a little bit. So we'll add a little bit here. This ink pad is well used. You can see it's kind of falling apart a little bit. All right, let me see. They don't check their mailboxes, Kim? Oh my goodness. Well, they might if they got a pretty card. I don't know. What do you think? They just forget to check? Oh, painting a craft room pink. That sounds very fun. I've been trying to decide what color I want to paint mine for like years, and I haven't decided yet what I'm doing. All right, and then I told you that little chest piece on the bird I was going to make just a little bit darker, so let's do that too while we're inking, and then we'll assemble this and show you how I put this card together. Okay, so we got this little blue piece. I'm going to use some blue ink. So Sherry's got an anniversary. Is that your wedding anniversary? Anybody got that one? Sorry, I'm trying to. Whatever it is, happy anniversary, Sherry. I don't know what it is. Okay, let me grab the blue real quick. I didn't put it out here for some reason. So we got dress blues. We're going to just add just a little bit, and I think I need a small. Let me see if I can wipe this one off and just use it. Just trying to wipe the orange off of it on my little thing here. Let's see what happens. It's such a dark color, I don't think it's going to matter. Okay, so I'm just making this a little darker. And you can make it as dark as you want. I'm just adding some color to it so it stands out. Okay, let's see here. Now you can do a little bit around your bird if you want to. I did not do that. I just left him like this. So let's see if we can assemble all these little pieces so that you can see how he goes together. I'm letting these dry just a little bit, so I'm just going to set this over to the side. Yeah, sending patches. Yes. Oh, okay. It's her 50th wedding anniversary. How cool is that, Colleen? That was Sherry. So happy 50th, Sherry. That's such an accomplishment, and it is not lost on me that is a great thing. It takes a lot of work, and I'm glad you put it in. And happy for you. I hope y'all get to do something fun. Okay, so we're going to assemble this little guy. I think I might assemble him. Can y'all see him okay? I think you can. We're going to do him with some glue. Okay, so this bird, like we talked about at the beginning, is called So Tweet. That's the bird. He's adorable, from Papertrey Ink. And he is just like a little chubby bird. He's so cute. So let's just line him up. And it's really not a whole lot of steps. We're going to put his top on. Make sure we got that white hidden under there a little bit. Okay. Got him right here. And then he needs his, I'm going to go ahead and do his eye because the eye is a little bit difficult. We got a big black part right here that goes on his eye. And then we have a teeny little white one that just really makes it look beautiful. And you can do that with a pen if you can't keep up with the tiny white pieces, okay? So we're going to put his little eye right here, okay? And then I have this teeny white piece, and I'm going to try to get right in the center. So teeny. See how little this is? Like I said, just grab yourself a white marker if that makes it easier for you. I'm going to drop it. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I have to be quiet. Okay, see how cute that little eye is? It looks so good. All right, so I realize these still have tape on them, and I need to take it off or it's going to stick to the other tape in my pile of these. So let's take that off. Okay, so we need a beak, and we need his little feet and that other part. So where did I put it? Right here. Okay, so let's assemble these teeny tiny parts. I always have to look at the beak and make sure I've got it going the right way too. Yeah, fits like that. Okay, and I'm just going to do a tad of glue. And then we're going to make our sentiment too. I love the sentiments that come with this set. Look at how good that beak looks. Look at its little beak. It's so cute. Okay. No, there's not a discount code at Papertrey today. We're just doing the giveaways. It is new release time for them. And Julie, tell them, if you're having any type of sales going on right now, feel free to put that in there. Okay, I'm gonna put this little darker part of this bird on. Gosh, that's cute. Okay, now we need some feet. And that's all there is to that bird. He's pretty easy. So he needs his little feet. I'm going to wait to put his feet on until we have the stamp sentiment because I want him to sit on that sentiment. And so I'm going to adjust the feet as I need to. But I do know that I'm using some foam tape, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of foam tape to the back of him so that he's ready for that. Tell me, what else am I going to say? Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, see, any cute? Let's find our foam tape. Here it is. All right, tell me what else is going on. Anything exciting in your crafting room? I am going to assemble this little guy with some foam tape so he sticks up off the paper. Just doing a couple little ones. You always want to, when you're doing a little item and you're foam taping it, make sure you get these little flimsy pieces because they really will kind of fall back behind the image if you don't put some foam tape on them. So I'm going to cut a teeny tiny little piece and I'm going to add it to that tail, and that just makes your image look so much better. It looks more realistic and it just really works. I'm going to add just a little bit right here to make sure that part doesn't bend, especially when you're using a paper that is kind of like a fabric like this. Okay, there we go. Here he is, and there's his little feet. Okay, let's cut out our die that we're going to use for him to sit on. It says, "A little birdie told me it's your birthday." So I'm going to cut that out. This is a die from Papertrey. Papertrey, I would say one of their huge strengths are these amazing, like different kinds of label dies. They have so many different types, and they are so cute. Okay, so we're going to cut out this from this same page, and then I'm going to stamp on it, and we'll put our sentiment on it, and then let's play with our reverse pieces, our negative pieces of foil, and let's see. Oh, good job, Barbara. That's a lot of Christmas cards. I'm going to have a video on making Christmas cards soon. I'll just have a little plan for making some more, but I'm impressed. You're way ahead. You are way ahead. It is August and you are making Christmas cards. That's the way to do it. Good job. Good job. So much, you'll feel so much better having them done early, won't you? That'll be nice. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. Look at this cool shape. I love this shape. So this is called Reflections John 6 because it's made for one of their verses that they sent. So every month Papertrey has a verse of the month, and this one is one that's John 6. So they call the dies that fit with those, they call them Reflections John 6 dies, okay? Bye, Arlene. Have a great weekend. I hope you have fun. Make sure you watch the replay and enter for the giveaway. There are 2 more $50 giveaways in the replay. We've already had, I think Sherry was the winner earlier here. And we have 2 more to give away in the replay. You have to make sure you check the replay. You have to make sure you check it to see if you're a winner. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to hit the thumbs up, okay? That would really help me out on the replay and people seeing it. Be very helpful, and it's just kind of a nice thank you to Papertrey so that hopefully their stuff gets seen a little bit more. If you're purchasing from Papertrey today, make sure that you use my affiliate link, which I know that Rachel has put in the chat. I know, I love the verse sets too. Oh, hi Denise, how are you? I'm taking my shoes off really quick. Okay. So I'm gonna grab my stamp wheel because that makes it a little bit easier to do these sentiments. This is sticky. And so I can stick this here and I can really line it up, make sure it's as straight as I can possibly get it, and then stick it down and still stamp. So just a really nice addition to if you're trying to get your stamping straight. I tend to die cut first and then stamp. Let me show you the stamp we're using. Here it is. I'm gonna use A Little Birdie Told Me It's Your Birthday. Somebody's talking about stamp timber at Simon Says Stamp. Yeah, definitely check out their site. Papertrey is an awesome company. I'm really loving working with them and just trying to get more eyes on their content because they have really great dies. So like I said, I will be putting out a video in probably 2 weeks on using their pumpkin dies that they have out right now and doing pumpkin dies 3 ways. So it'll be fun if you need to make some fall cards. All right, I love making shaker cards with pumpkins. They're so cute. All right, so we're gonna use some black ink and we're just gonna stamp this, get our little birdie on there. I'm gonna add some beautiful metallic thread, and then we're gonna play with those negatives and decide if we can get those negatives to stick to a piece of paper. I've actually never tried it, so we're gonna try it live and see what happens. I think I'm gonna use VersaFine Clair Nocturne for my stamp here. Okay, so I think they were asking how you enter the giveaway, and the giveaway is just comment. So just comment, and when you are doing the giveaway in the replay, just make sure you put a comment in the replay, okay? That way I can reply to you and tell you you're the winner, okay? If you haven't done it yet and you're on Instagram, you're on something like Facebook, I am on all of those sites, and I would love for you to go check my content out. I put out content almost every day. So yes, so just make sure that you're following me on all my sites. I am Nicki Hearts Cards everywhere. Look at that. See how easy that is? When you've got a little grippy mat and a stamp placement, look at that. So beautiful. A little birdie told me it's your birthday. That would be great. A teenager would enjoy that too, right? Okay, I've got to wipe this little stamp off real quick before it gets too nasty. Use my little towel, wipe it off. Okay, alrighty. So now we've got our place for our bird to stand. So I'm gonna let that dry just a second. Let's go ahead and start assembling our foil piece with the mat, okay? We got our mat here because we may need to cut it down. I'm gonna see what I did here. Yeah, I need to cut this down just a little bit, and then we're gonna put it on this piece right here. And the way I'm gonna get it flat is I'm gonna use glue. The glue actually worked really well, and it held it down great. Yes, yeah, Jill, I do too. And Lola, yes, the pumpkin. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you'll see that. If y'all aren't on my newsletter list, that's a great way to do it too. What am I getting? Oh, I need a trimmer. So this delicate paper, I think I'm just gonna use this trimmer because it's accessible, but not my favorite of all the trimmers. Just, it's delicate paper, so that's easy to do. Okay, so this paper must be, yeah, it's too long. See, so it needs to be a little bit shorter. It's fitting inside a 5.5, so I'm gonna cut off this little edge. And it's really, really flimsy, so you're gonna have to be really careful to hold it in place. Make sure you got it. Do it fast. Yeah, see how that's kind of like on the edge there? I still may have to, let's see if I can do it from here. I'm gonna cut that with the scissors. Try to even it out. I knew I probably shouldn't have used that trimmer. Don't tell anybody I said that, they'll be mad at me. If they're the people who produce this trimmer. Okay. That looks better. I still need to take a little bit off the side. I'm gonna do that as carefully as I can with a different trimmer because this one didn't work great. Let's go with a guillotine for this teeny paper. Let's try this one. See if we can get a little sharper cut. Yeah, thank you, Amy. That would make sense. I am just not as used to that trimmer either, so sometimes I just grab it for quick little things. Sorry, that edge didn't look right either. It's just hard to cut paper that is specialty paper. I'm going to trim just a smidge off this too. If ever you're quite a little bit off, you can always just trim some off. Okay, let's see how that looks. Good, that works. Always, never be afraid to trim off a little edges just to make it work right. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Laura and Amy. I appreciate that. I don't use that type of trimmer very often, but it's an easy one to grab versus some of my favorites like the Rototrim. So with this, I just did glue, and I was worried about doing glue. I was afraid that this paper was too flimsy, but it actually worked quite well. So I'm going to glue this onto my mat, and then we'll start adding our bird and our cute little details. Actually, let me see. I am not going to glue it yet. Never mind. Hang on. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. Hang on. Let me just grab a piece of this. So I'm going to wipe the glue off really quick. Hang on. Because I wanted to wrap the strings around it. So I'm going to do that first, even though it's going to be a little bit difficult with the flimsy paper. Okay, hang on. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, well, you know. Okay, so delicate papers. Here we go. We're going to get some. Let's go ahead and get ready to put this behind here too. So we're going to put this in the middle, and we're going to use some of this. It's like DMC metallic thread. Okay. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to tape it to the back. Okay. So hang on a sec. And it's flimsy because we got flimsy paper too. So just using a piece of tape or something like that on the back works great. So I'm going to wrap this around. Okay, we're going to carefully wrap it around. Try not to bend this. Okay. And I did, I think 3. You know what I think I did? Hang on, sorry. I'm going to cut it and tape each piece so that I don't have to pull on it so much. I'm sorry, sometimes I make these all and then I am like, wait, what did I do? Sometimes I have to check the video footage. Okay. So we got one piece here. All right, let's see. Yeah. You do glue with the actual pieces of thread, Denise? Because I don't know if I could get that to stay, but I would like to hear that. So we're going to take this and tape it. The thing about tape that's nice is like you can adjust your strings here. Okay. Take another little piece. So all these little pieces that I use for the foil are coming in very handy. So I'm using those again. Okay. Check. And we'll do one more piece. So it's going to look like a mess on the back, but it's going to look cool on the front. Okay, we got 1, 2. Then I think I did one along the middle too. It's kind of looking crazy, but sorry, sometimes I can't talk and do this at the same time. Let's see what else is going on. Hey, Joanne. I have not seen if I could get blade replacements for my guillotine. It would be nice if you could. I'd love to hear that if somebody's tried it before. So we're doing really delicate wrapping of thread around this delicate paper, which is a little bit of an ordeal. But I wanted to tuck it in behind it, so that's what I did. So I'm just using little tiny pieces of tape that I used on the foil. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna put this over the top of it, so we got it. And that will help hold our strings down. So we've got here, this will hold our strings down. So it may look crazy, but it's really pretty easy to hold down. So let's take a little bit of foam tape on this. We'll get this placed and then we'll get it all in the background and we'll add our cute little birdie. Okay, let's see. Love the thread. Sorry, I don't know what Sharon's saying. She's talking about shoes. All right, here we go. So I'm going to use this to hold down these strings as well. So I'm going to do that before I put it on the background. So we got some foam tape here. I need to look at my, I'm going to hold it flat. I'm actually going to use a sticky mat just to hold my piece of paper flat. Be super careful with it. Adjust those strings as I want them to be. I want this string just a little bit lower. There he goes. Okay, so we'll put him on here. Then we got our foam tape. So somebody's asking if the age of the foil matters. I don't know. I've had mine for probably 3 years. Does that sound right to everybody? Sound about right for a foil machine? Okay. So I'm gonna make sure I got all my little strings held down. There we go. Okay. Now let's stick this to its mat and then we'll add our cute little bird. Who is excited to try using the negative space? Has anybody ever done that before? Y'all ever tried? Because if you have a way to glue it on, I would love to hear about that. So I'm going to do this with glue, like we said before, kind of gluing it. And we'll just glue over the tape here, see how we do. Carefully place it. Gonna have to see part of my head probably. Okay, nice and flat. So all that looked crazy, but we got it. We got it under control now. Let's hold it down for just a second. I'm going to use this to kind of smooth over it. So if you don't have an acrylic block, it does a great job with like delicate papers and just holding things down if you don't want to put your fingers all over them. Sometimes I use it just to press down. Okay, so sorry. Denise says how she's doing it. So when are you talking about when that you glue the edges when, are you gluing the back of the foil, like if you're using the negative space of the foil? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, so now we got our little legs we need to attach, and then we got our card done. So these little legs are right here. Boom. And I want to make sure my little birdie sits there, so I am going to kind of see how I want him to sit. And then I'm going to put a little dot of glue on the front of this leg and slide it underneath him. Oh, hey, thanks, Sherry. I'm glad that I could introduce you to them. They are a small company in Ohio, and they are very, very great people. Highly recommend. And I'm glad that you were here to check it out. They have great dies. So I'm going to see if I can get this little guy to stick. He's not wanting to, so let me do a little bit of, I'm going to do just a smidge of like adhesive on the edge of his leg because that glue doesn't seem to be sticking great. So just putting on a little bit of like a dot runner. I'm going to have to use this one because that other one seems like it's out. Okay, now he's got a little spot. Let's see if we can get him now. Okay. Yes, thank you, Debbie. You use, okay, so she says, I have a metal shim that I use with my embossing pad to apply the negative to the foil. Okay, that's interesting. It's making me think what we could do. Okay. So like I said, I can kind of adjust the little legs however I want to. I'm going to go here, and here's our other leg. We're going to put a little bit of dot runner on him, and then we'll put a little bit of glue on the back. Yeah, we probably should use something like we probably should use something flat to hold that piece of foil down. So we'll try that. This little guy's going here. He needs his little leg longer. Okay. Look at how cute that guy is. Isn't he just adorable? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing from the double-sided adhesive, and then we'll put our little bird down. And we can try playing with that negative piece of foil. I think I'm going to start the negative piece of foil on a colored piece of cardstock so we can kind of see what it looks like. Anybody have a color they want to try? It would look kind of cool with patterned paper. Let's see what y'all think. I'm going to get just a little dot of glue on these two so that hopefully they stay okay. Okay, she's talking about gluing on the delicate paper. All right, here's our little guy. Look at how cute that is. I'm going to move him just a little bit. Just adjusting his body ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, yeah, he's cute. Look at that. Okay, let me show you some of the details of this card, and then let's try seeing what happens if we try to do the negative space. We may have to give up on it and say, you know, it's not going to work, but I think we can do it. So let's look at this guy so you can see him, our little final. Purple and gold. Ooh, purple and gold will look good. Amy, that's for sure. Burgundy would look nice. Thank you, April. This reminds me, I feel like you did a bird card recently that I saw, and I thought it was just adorable. Burgundy and gold. I wonder if I have burgundy. Let's just see about that. So here's the cards. How cute they are. They just look beautiful. And let me try to see if you can see that detail like I'm talking about with the texture foil. See how it's got like lines in the foil? Isn't that cute? Yeah, that looks so cute. Okay, let me grab, so we've got our negative pieces here, and we're gonna see what we can do to stick these down. So let me see what kind of colors. We definitely have pink because it's already sitting out. We have pink that we could do. We could do it on the pink. I heard the word burgundy a couple of times, or like dark green I see. Wonder if we could do it on the blue. Let's just see. On the blue, that's okay. Let's look at what I have, which means I need to walk over to the side really quick and see if I can find, I think I see a burgundy right now from Papertrey Ink. So you want to say burgundy, and did somebody say dark green? I feel like they said that, and purple. I'll see if I've got those three colors, and I'm going to walk over to the side to grab those really quick. So chat amongst yourself. Hang on just one second. Okay, here's the two colors that I found. Let's see what we think about these two. So I got this Scarlet Jewel, that's a nice burgundy, and I have this blue Enchanted Evening. I have this one that's a little bit brighter and a little bit shinier. So let's look at what it kind of looks like. It's over plastic. Ooh, that is gonna, whoever said burgundy, That looks really nice. That looks really nice. Okay, I actually haven't even used this cardstock before, so let me get a piece out and we will try that. Nice call on the burgundy. All those nice jewel tones look really good with gold. So let's play with it a little bit and we'll try to decide how we want to make this look. Let me see. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of cut it open, and I think I'm just gonna leave it like a full piece and just see what happens. Maybe a half piece. Ooh, that is even prettier without the packaging. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is a pretty color paper tray. I love it. I'm gonna have to use this again, especially with gold. Look at that. That is gonna look nice. Now let's just see if we can figure out how to adhere it, because that might be a little bit of a chore. So we're using Scarlet Jewel. This is from Papertrey. So if you are the winner of the gift card or you're just going shopping today, this is an excellent color burgundy. This might be the prettiest burgundy I have seen. This is the only burgundy actually that I see in my craft room, and I really love it. So whoever gave us the idea, thank you. How about this? Who all said burgundy? How many people did we have? Somebody said that you could use an iron. That actually might work. An iron might work. You know what else would work, but I don't have one, is there's these foil plates that are just plain and they adhere the foil to it, but we're gonna try to do it like if you didn't have that availability, which I can't find mine, so I'm not really sure if I know that would work. And I bet you could even run this possibly through a laminating machine and make it work, but let's try it real quick and just see if we can do it with glue. Okay, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna cut this piece of paper kind of in half just to give us a little bit more working room. I'm just curious if it can be done. So if anybody's tried it and you know it can't be done, go ahead and speak now or forever hold your peace. We'll try it out. Yeah, solid hot foil plate would work great, Carla. I do not have one. I used to have one. Who said burgundy? Kim, thank you on the burgundy. That was a great idea. So here's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try gluing it and going in like sections and holding it down, and we're gonna see what happens. I think I'm gonna just like use this and hold it down. So I'm gonna be as careful as I can, and then we can cut this piece of paper up and use it from there. So we'll see if we can see the glue through it. Here's what we'll do. I'm just gonna glue all around, how about that? And then we'll kind of slowly lay it down. Like I said, experimenting here, guys. So I think I'm gonna do that, and I think I'm going to try to spread out my glue, get a little bit more even, so we don't have any big marks. I'm just using a piece of plastic and kind of spreading it out a little bit. So maybe you won't be able to see it through the stuff as much. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh yeah, so I need to get that dark green cardstock. You gotta tell me what color it is. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Kind of go boom. Okay, let's see if we hold some pressure on it, if that works. Where is my... Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay. I can tell I didn't get the edges all the way, but the rest looks like it's sticking okay. Look at that. That is pretty. It's definitely sticking. You can tell I didn't put any glue around the edges, so I'm going to kind of get this edge a little bit. We'll see what happens if I put big globs of glue, if you can see it. Maybe a little. Yeah, and then I just got some glue on the top. Oops. Actually holds it down pretty good though. Okay, so we'll plan on like cutting in the middle of this and seeing like maybe we can die cut it in like a pretty... Let's do like some layers and give it a second to dry. And then maybe we die cut this beautiful image out of the middle like this. And then we can put that on like another piece. Just so, and then we can put like a pretty, could even die cut that, take a beautiful piece of burgundy here and like do another round. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna, when I die cut it, I'm gonna die cut down here too. See if I can get that. Okay. All right, and we'll just see what we can do. Okay. Okay, so Barbara says, most favorite green cardstock ever. You've got to tell me that color. Did you say that? What the name of the color was? And guys, this is all, okay, Pine Feather. I think she says it Pine Feather. Is that from Papertrey Ink? And I'm sorry, I have to get a drink of Coke. Maybe navy. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to play with this. I'm going to send it. I'm scared to send it through my die cutting machine, but I also am curious as to what happens. So let's just see what happens. See if it stays together or if it needs to dry a little bit longer. Okay, Colleen and Renee said maybe navy. Navy would look nice. Okay, so I've got that. Gotta be careful with this little die. Let's go like this part. Okay, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm crossing my fingers here. Crossing my fingers. Oh, that's too wide for that one. I gotta trim off an edge a little bit. I only have my mini die cutting machine with me today, so I need to trim a little bit off. See if that'll fit. Okay, Pine Feather. Okay, I need some Pine Feather, Julie. I gotta hear about that. Okay, so let's try this again. All right, so we're gonna send it through the die cutting machine, see what happens. I say that, it still won't fit. Sorry, only got my mini machine plugged in and this is just a little bit too thick. So let me trim off a little bit more, hang on. Gives it time to dry, I guess. Hey, Trisha, thank you. Okay, now we'll see. This would look good with the gold string too, like across it, I think would look cute. Okay, now it's bound to fit. That's kind of the downside of having a mini machine is that you can only fit so much thickness through it. Okay, I'm sending it through. Yeah, glue pen, that's a good idea. Do you have one of those that's like got removable glue on it too? Or is it, oh my goodness. Guys, look at this. Look at that. Yes, you can see the glue a little bit, but if you don't have a big foil plate, that works great. Let's look at it on like a, let's do like the background of that burgundy. Let's see where I put the other piece. Like if we put it on this, oh man, that looks good. There's a little spot right at the edge. Sorry, I know I shouldn't do that with my teeth. There's a little spot right here that needs just a little bit of glue to hold it down. Okay. Kind of along the edge. So I'm going to hold that down. But look at it if it has a burgundy base. That looks really nice. And then I could cut out a nice burgundy sentiment, or I could use, you know how I said I was cutting the foil extra pieces earlier? Let's see if I've still got that piece. Where I cut the leaves out. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it. But you could even fussy cut some of this and have them sticking out as well. That would look really cool. So yes, this is going to make a very cool card. Let's look at it with some of this. Oh man, look at that. Okay, I'm going to cut out another one of these and we'll think about what we're going to put as our sentiment, but I'm going to cut out a little piece. That way you can see what they look like together. So let me cut out this. Loving this burgundy. I'm going to have to do this more. This would be great for Christmas cards. It's just great for fall cards. Really love that color. So I'm keeping y'all just a little bit long today just because we wanted to do some experimenting. You know, I love to experiment. If you've been in my live streams before, if you haven't been in my live streams before, make sure you hit the like, subscribe so that you catch my videos. I have a video or a live stream every week. And I would love to have you hang out with me. And like I said, we're going to be doing the card. Oh, look at that. That looks cool. Or you could do it this way. But I think it looks neat to do it this way. Oh, that's gonna look good. Okay, let me cut this down to a card base size and we'll just get it all together and make it look nice. What do y'all think we need to put on there for the sentiment? May have to think about that for a minute. But yeah, you could put this over it. You could add some gold string to it. Oh, that's gonna look really cool. Or you could just leave it like that and put a smaller sentiment. We could even do the teeny tiny one. Hang on, let's cut out a teeny tiny one. We'll see which one we like the best. This is the same size we used on the bird card. So I'm gonna get that die out. Sorry. I'm gonna try one of these too, and we'll see which one we like the best. And then we'll cut this down and we'll at least get it that far, and then we can decide on our string and we can decide on what we're doing with the rest, because it would look really cool to add some little gold string. You could even add like some gold paste or something around the edges of this sentiment. You could do the sentiment in gold. So I'm going to cut out this size as well. Let's see this. Yeah, so you can see more of the foil, yeah. Because you worked so hard on the foil, you want to make sure you can see it. Ooh, that's cool. Or you could even put it down here and wrap some around. Let's look at it with this. Could wrap some nice stuff around it. Ooh, that looks cool. That's really cool. So we could use some of the sentiments from the birdie thing. We could use, stick a bird on there if we wanted to, but I don't know if that works. I think I'm gonna have to do some fussy cutting of these, and I'm going to do the fussy cutting, and I'm gonna stick them out the sides too, I think, and just see what that looks like. Yeah, the smaller one does look better. I agree. I agree. So this one just takes up too much of the foil and then you don't see it. So definitely go smaller one. And I'll cut this into a appropriate card size and we can kind of look at that. But I need to be able to stamp my sentiment, which we've got to decide on. So other things that are coming up soon, just so you know, I created pumpkin cards, and this is going to be on the channel for Papertrey Ink on my channel, and it is part of their new release, these pumpkins. We will be looking at those in a couple weeks on my channel, so lots of different ways to use pumpkin dies, including possibly some stitching. Okay, so here's our little thing. Boom, boom. I'm going to hang on to this because it's such a beautiful color. Any other questions? Anybody got an idea? I feel like this would be a great Christmas card. What do you think? Make like a Christmas sentiment there? I will have to look at my options. Let's cut this into a 4.25 by 5 just so we can see how big this die is. See if I can get this right. Okay. 4.25 by 5.5. Okay, so that's the standard A2 size card. So you can see these reflections dies. That's what they're called, reflections John 6. And then you can see, ooh, I almost dropped that. Then you can see how it fits on the card. I kind of think that the gold should go behind this one and wrap around. Or do you think it should go in the front? Could also just give us some detail in the front and kind of stick out. Yes, Thanksgiving, yes. So I will definitely play with this one, and it will be up on social media. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, you definitely need to do that. I do lots of short form videos for Instagram. I am Nicki Hearts Cards on all of these different channels. And give me a, send up hearts if you want me to try to finish more of this card, or if you're done and good, then we will wrap it up. Just let me know. I can start working on it, and I can see if I have a sentiment that would work. We could also use, I'm sure that Julie from Papertrey might have a suggestion on a sentiment that would fit there. Yay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And remember, there will be 2 $50 gift cards in the replay. You'll need to respond to me in the comments. So make sure you're checking that within the next week. If you see a comment from me on or on YouTube, you know that it might be a win. Okay, so make sure you comment on the replay as well. And I will see. So we got a few red hearts, say keep on going. Let me just go ahead and at least get this adhered down. And do you have long enough for me to look? Let me grab my Papertrey stuff and let's see what we can figure out that would be a good sentiment on that. Do you think the sentiment should be gold? Gold heat embossing on this? Or you think I should just to continue with the theme? Or you think I should go white? White shows up better, but gold really kind of continues the look of it. Yeah. Foil the sentiment. Yeah, I don't have a sentiment from them to foil, but that would be looking cool. That would be a great idea, Linda. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate your help. Rachel, say thanks to Rachel. She helped out. I will, since Rachel's heading out too, I'm probably going to wrap up and I will try to find something. I'll put this out on social media for you guys. That way you can check it out. Make sure that you comment on the replay if you want to enter into the other giveaway. It's for two $50 gift cards, 2 different winners. So make sure that you're not one of those winners. I see a couple people saying gold. Do gold on that sentiment. So let me look really quick at what I've got. If I can grab a sentiment really quick, we'll at least heat emboss that and see what it looks like. Let me just grab some stuff. Let's see what we can find here. I think it needs to be Christmas or just something fun. Okay, we got a couple of like happy birthdays. Those are a little bit too big. We got thank you kindly. That would fit. I'm sorry, I'm looking. This is what happens in live when you don't have the... Let me see if there's any small Christmas ones in here. Those are all pretty big. Okay, the only one that I see that fits easily is like some of these little small ones. Yeah, so I may not be able to do that on camera, guys, because I have to look for them. Okay, so let's just for convenience, let's just write "you're so tweet." No? Sorry, I'm just seeing how we're doing here. Okay. Thank you kindly. Yeah, that was nice. Maybe I should just do that. That was the cowboy sentiment. Let me grab that one. It was over here. Sorry, I got to go down here. So thank you kindly. That'll fit. And it's got enough depth to it that it will show up well. So let's see. Let's just make sure. Yep. Thank you kindly fits. Okay. So let me get my stamp machine out and let's heat emboss that, which means I've got to grab the heat embossing powder. Hang on one quick second. And this is from this set, Cowboy Reverie. Like I said, I do not have a foil plate sentiment easily accessible, or you could easily just foil on your piece. If you've got lots of sentiments, you could do that. So we're going to go, thank you kindly. Okay. And let's pick that up. I think that's going to look good in gold. Just grab it. Okay. So before you do any heat embossing, you need to use a little bit of powder. So I'm just going to do a little bit of powder here. Try not to get it on my mat. And then I've got to grab the heat embossing powder. So I'm going to use a gold, one of my favorite golds. Let's go. This one looks similar to the foil, so I'm going to go with it. Pretty similar in color. Okay, so we'll need a plain Versamax stamp pad. That would make an amazing sympathy card. Like I said, we're doing it on the fly. That would be beautiful, guys. So nice. But we're just going to do one on the fly. So here we go. Yeah, that looks great. I'm going to stamp it twice just to make sure I got enough ink. And then we will heat emboss it, which means I'll have to turn on my little fan thing. That's going to look good. Thank you kindly. Nice. I like it. Now, when I heat emboss, I tend to use a coffee filter, and sometimes I reuse these too. So you can see I've used this one before. And I just use that to pour my embossing powder into. So I'm going to pour this in. Remember that if you haven't done it yet, that you hit the like and subscribe on my channel. And this one is called Metallic Gold Rich. Okay, it's by Wow Embossing Powder. And it's just a nice gold. Okay. Okay, that powder did great. Okay, so now we're just gonna heat it up. This will probably get drowned out by my microphone, but it can't make any promises. Yeah, don't, Kimberly, you gotta not forget the powder. It's one of those things that really, really helps your embossing not stick to the rest of the paper so that you can kind of dump it off a lot easier. Yeah, you definitely could, Barbara. That's a great idea. Making the cards, but maybe wait on the sentiment so that you can do what you want to with the sentiment. Okay, that looks good. So if you're not a heat embosser, you need to see some of my videos. I have lots of heat embossing videos. I love heat embossing. It's just so easy. And it does take a little practice, of course, like everything, but it really is a nice way to not have a sentiment that like rubs off. If you're having trouble with your ink sentiments coming off, you can always heat emboss, and that works great. So now once you've got all of that nice and dry, you need a microfiber cloth, which I'm looking for in my craft room somewhere. Oh, here it is. To wipe off the powder. Okay, so we're going to wipe off the powder. Got it. Wipe it off. All right, and then we have our cute little sentiment. Okay, do you think that the gold needs to go behind our sentiment? Do you think it needs to go? Look at that. Just a simple card from your leftovers. How cute is that? So we could do gold. Let me see if I have any burgundy ribbon. I don't think that I do. I have black and white. I have this gold, and I have this gold. We could make it more. Let's see what this looks like. So this is a gold, like circly ribbon. Ooh, look at that. That's kind of nice. You think it should go behind this one or the other? Okay, go here, across it. Ooh, that looks nice, doesn't it? I like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of this one, and I think I'm going to pop it up a little bit just to make the card look exciting. So we're going to pop it up just a little bit with some foam tape. So I'm going to use this Altenew foam tape. I'm trying to see. And then we're going to use this ribbon. If you haven't seen this ribbon, it's almost like a metal ribbon. I've got it from Spellbinders. So make sure you use my link if you're going to buy some ribbon. And here's the brand. Okay, so we're going to do that. Anybody got a favorite foam tape out there that I need to try? I really love this Altenew foam tape. Really works well. I really love scrapbook.com's foam tape. Love to hear your thoughts. My husband says that it's a superpower that I can cut my foam tape and have it fit in the space every single time. I was like, that's funny. He's like, how do you do that? I was like, I don't know. I just kind of guess, and it works. So apparently that's a superpower according to my husband. All right, so here's this beautiful piece. That's gonna look good. And then we're gonna need to decide here, like I don't wanna cover this up, so I think I'm gonna have to go across it. I'm just gonna go straight across it. And it's like, because of its material, like you can bend in between it and it's almost like it's a metal. You see that? How you can bend it? This is really fun stuff. So I'm gonna stick it over here and we'll get it lined up where we want it to go. Yeah. You think I should do more than one stripe of it? I'm gonna cut my little ledge here a little bit shorter. Okay. And then I'm gonna add a piece of double-sided adhesive so that I can stick this little bent part down. Okay. And then let's see if it'll fit. I may have to move this foam tape. Okay, I'm gonna move that piece of foam tape. Okay. All right, so move this little piece of foam tape. I'm gonna trim this one down. Sorry, I see no in there. Yeah, Trisha says, great superpower. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Like, what in the world? Okay, and then let's move this little piece off and we'll bend this over. So I do not like to waste this ribbon because it is nice ribbon. So I'm just going to use as little as I can. And even sometimes I'll use like this little extra piece on stuff. It's kind of fun. So I'm going to bend it down and then I'm going to use a piece of double-sided adhesive to hold it down. Okay, and this is Altenew double-sided adhesive. Let's just see. Yep. Looks pretty nice. It helps if I do it right side up. Okay. And then we got our thank you kindly. And I think it's going to look really cool. I might have to stick some of these. I don't know. I'm tempted to stick some of these coming out of it too. But let's stick with this for right now. So this is going to need a little bit of foam tape as well because it needs to go over that piece. So I'm going to give it just a smidge of foam tape. Thank you guys for all being here too. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy these lives. Will you tell me, do you prefer lives over regular videos, or you like both types of videos? What do you prefer to have out there? I feel like lives are becoming much more popular, but I want to make sure that I'm making content that you enjoy. So tell me what you are really enjoying and what kind of things make you want to watch. I would love to hear that. Okay, so here is a little sentiment. I'm going to line it up. So this mat right here has a middle point, which kind of helps you with lining things like this up. So I'm going to go ahead and, because once I stick this down, I'm sticking it on top of foil. It is not going to move. Okay, so I got to be careful at laying it down. I'm going to use some tweezers. Okay, so you like both live. You watch all in both. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, sorry, you're going to have to see my head in this probably because I have to look at it to get it right. Okay, that's going to have to be middle enough. I think I got it though. Looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on the card and we'll see what it looks like. How about that for like a scrap card? Just use up your scraps. I feel like I might need one more foam piece right there. So let me grab just one more foam piece. All right, so let's see. I like watching lives and then watching replays. Yes, I agree. Like I really love watching the lives and I really love, I like that people like to watch the replays too. It's real fun to interact even after. But the other ones, like, you know, if you're on a time pressure, then the other ones I can speed up things, and so sometimes people enjoy that as well. But I do feel like the lives are more popular than the others, so I'm curious. Okay, I'm gonna line this guy up. Let's hope I'm right. Yes, I could have put some some glue on the back, but I was doing this quick because we made our little, look at that. How about that for a card from scraps? That thing looks awesome. And like y'all said, that would be an amazing sympathy card. Amazing. Okay, here. So we made these today. Made our cute little birds. We used the background of these foils, and we could try the one that has a little bit of lines in it too. That might look interesting on there. Give it a little detail. We may try that on the next one and do like a navy or a green, but this would be a great, I think it'd be a great sympathy card. I think it'd be a really cool like Christmas card. Yeah, so scrap carding, as Cynthia says, that's a good thing to call it, scrap carding. We did scrap carding. Yes, so that's good to know, Kim and Marshall. Yes, thank you so much. All right, the burgundy does stand out. I already forgot the name of who said burgundy, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free to pop it in there so we can all heart you and tell you that it was an awesome idea to use burgundy. I am going to use it more, and I really love this color. This is from Papertrey. It's called Scarlet Jewel, and we basically just used scraps of our foil to create this card. So we used a foil piece, we used glue, and we did a little bit of heat embossing on our sentiment. It was awesome. So we got these, like I said, coming soon on my channel are pumpkin cards from this release. If you have not checked out Papertrey Ink, I did put it down in this like bottom, I can't get my finger to point the way, bottom quarter right here so that you would see how it was spelled. And just check out their stuff. It is amazing quality. Love it. Great dyes. You will not be disappointed. And they have a great owner, Julie, who's been here in this live with us, helping me out and giving giveaways. So make sure that you pop in the replay at some point and comment on it so that you can enter for the other two $50 gift cards. So make sure you do that. If you do pop in on the replay, hit the like again, just if it'll let you, and if not, just let it play a little bit versus clicking on it and clicking right off. That's really hard on my channel. So I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate everything. I hope that you have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. Be very careful out there. I'm headed to a hockey tournament in Nashville, and so I'll be on the road too. So just prayers for everybody to be safe. And I hope that I'll see you again soon. I will be on my channel next week with a pre-recorded video. I should have about 2 lives a month, so make sure you pay attention to that. Thanks so much for showing up. Thanks so much for crafting with me this afternoon, and I hope to see you again very soon. So have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.